that just tells you everything that we've been telling you. This is just confirmation. And what's hilarious is this is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors. Oh man, Angel Reese fans are going to be pissed.
What happens when a rising star's carefully constructed image begins to crumble, not under the weight of external pressures, but from within? When the very foundation of their proclaimed dominance starts to crack, revealing a stark, uncomfortable truth beneath? For months, the narrative has been loud, almost deafening. A new era, a new queen. But behind the glitz and the headlines, a different story was quietly unfolding. A tale of shocking missteps, strategic blunders, and a desperate reliance on the very rival she claimed to overshadow. Major sponsors, once eager to align themselves with this magnetic personality, are now whispering about second thoughts, about deals on shaky ground, and a brand built on something far less substantial than genuine star power. The spotlight, once hers for the taking, is now illuminating a much darker reality, one where a signature shoe deal might just be the least of her worries.
Here, I thought Angel Reese was a big deal. I thought she was a box office draw. According to her pretend friends in the mainstream media, Angel Reese is a huge star.
The first cracks in the facade began on the hardwood, in moments that quickly spiraled from embarrassing blunders to viral sensations. Forget highlight reels. What emerged instead were low-light reels of almost comical proportions. Angel Reese's struggles with even the most fundamental shots, especially layups, have reached a level that defies belief for a professional athlete. Imagine turning a simple putback into a blooper seen around the world, missing not once but several times in a row, all under the intense glare of national television. Commentators, once poised to celebrate, found themselves struggling to find diplomatic language to describe the carnage, their barely suppressed laughter echoing across the airwaves. It wasn't just a bad game, it was a phenomenon, quickly dubbed the Angel Reese effect, where easy shots simply became impossible. Her field goal percentage, a seemingly respectable 44.4%, masks a grim truth. Most of these attempts originate from directly under the basket, shots that professional players convert at rates approaching 70 to 80%. This wasn't just a rough patch, it was a profound public embarrassment, raising immediate questions about the very essence of her on-court competence. This shocking display of fundamental incompetence was just the opening act in a much larger, more troubling drama.
We have commentators laughing at this.
Washington has done that incredibly well so far. Reese missed the first one, still with it, blocked.
They realized that they were laughing and then quickly stopped themselves like, oh, I can't laugh. I'm live right now. I can't laugh. I'm live right now. Let me get real serious real quick. Angel, come on, man.
While the public was still reeling from the on-court spectacle, the tremors were already reaching the hallowed halls of corporate boardrooms. The silence from sponsors, once eager to jump on the bandwagon, became deafening. Instead of rolling out red carpets and announcing new partnerships, brands were quietly, almost imperceptibly backing away. The buzz around Angel Reese, once so vibrant, was rapidly fading, replaced by a growing sense of unease. Her signature Reebok shoe, an ambitious project slated for 2026, was initially presented as a cornerstone of her burgeoning empire. But now, whispers are swirling through the industry, rumors suggesting that the deal itself could already be on shaky ground. The very idea that her massive brand potential was enough to carry her through any on-court struggles was being violently put to the test. This was supposed to be the era of Angel Reese, the box office draw, the mainstream media darling. Yet, the people with the money, the actual sponsors who dictate the financial future of athletes, seem to be telling a starkly different story. The grand declarations of her star power were being met with the cold, hard reality of diminishing returns, casting a long shadow over her entire commercial future.
This was an epic embarrassment, bro. Remember, this is a pro basketball player. Won a national championship. Their calling card they'd like to hang over is she beat Caitlin Clark. Remember that. Watch this.
Clarkson with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up, what she's good at. Getting another offensive rebound. She says, give me that. How about another? Persistence trying to pay off. Jones gets a piece. Angel Reese won't give up. Jones with another block.
Are you serious, guys? Look at this. Look at this.
As the on-court struggles mounted, Angel Reese was meticulously planning a moment she believed would solidify her status, a calculated strike of marketing genius. Her strategy was simple, yet brilliant in its ambition. Unveil her highly anticipated Reebok signature shoe during the WNBA All-Star Game. The stage was set in Indianapolis, a city pulsating with the energy of the league's biggest event. The masterstroke, however, hinged entirely on one individual, Caitlin Clark. Clark, serving as a co-captain, was guaranteed to draw unprecedented viewership, creating a colossal, unmissable platform. Angel's plan was to strategically leverage this colossal audience, using Clark's immense star power to steal the spotlight and capitalize on what everyone in the league recognized as the Caitlin Clark effect. This wasn't just about a shoe, it was about a carefully orchestrated coronation, a moment designed to cement Reese's marketability and demonstrate her commercial appeal on the grandest stage imaginable. She had attached herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn, using her rival's immense reach as promotional leverage, and this all-star debut was meant to be the ultimate culmination of that strategy.
Angel Reese 100% has benefited from attaching herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn. She used Caitlin Clark as promo. Now with Reebok, she's using. This is nonstop. She has attached herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn, and she has benefited.
What happened next wasn't just bad luck, it was a catastrophic alignment of circumstances that would make Murphy's Law look like an understatement. Just days before the All-Star festivities, the entire foundation of Angel Reese's elaborate plan shattered. Caitlin Clark suffered a right groin injury on July 15th. This wasn't a minor setback. The injury not only kept Clark out of the three-point contest, but also sidelined her from the main event, the very showcase Angel was counting on to maximize her shoe's visibility and ignite her marketing blitz. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Angel Reese, who had spent considerable energy trying to position herself as Clark's equal or even superior, suddenly found herself desperately needing Clark's star power to make her own moment matter. Without Clark on the court, the All-Star Game lost its biggest draw, and with it, Angel's perfectly orchestrated marketing plan spiraled into disarray. The viewership numbers told a brutal, undeniable story. Without Clark playing, audience engagement plummeted, leaving Angel's highly anticipated shoe debut to fall flat in front of a much smaller, less captivated crowd than she had ever anticipated. The grand coronation had turned into a hollow echo.
Shaq and Allen Iverson are going to go and do what they can to promote their player. Do what they can to promote their player. Like, even still here, like, you had the Angel Reese saying that she was, taking over Indiana, and there's about 15 fans there. And more than wearing Caitlin Clark merch than her merch. She pulls up with about 15 fans, and I'm like, take over, Angel, take over. This is her city now. And I'm like, and she's never won a game in Indiana.
The basketball gods, it seemed, possessed a dark, biting sense of humor. Here was Angel Reese, vocal about her own star power and ability to draw crowds, suddenly confronted with the stark reality that she had been banking entirely on her supposed rival's presence to legitimize her own brand. This wasn't just a marketing mishap, it was a profound, almost poetic revelation about the true dynamics of the WNBA's commercial landscape. The All-Star Game, meticulously planned as her coronation, became instead a brutal reminder of just how much the WNBA's success and her own marketing opportunities depended on Caitlin Clark. The contrast became even sharper when industry figures began speaking out. Ice Cube, a music icon with his own basketball league, had reportedly assured sponsors that securing Caitlin Clark would rake in cash hand over fist. But then, a chilling revelation emerged. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese. Not the draw, folks. He even questioned if he could make the same offer to Reese. While Angel had pulled up to events with a mere handful of fans, often outnumbered by people wearing Clark merchandise, Clark consistently filled arenas, forcing venues to expand capacity. The narrative of taking over Indiana, A city where Reese has never won a game now seemed like a hollow boast, amplified by the painful truth that her moment hinged entirely on her rival's health.
Take over your trap. I mean, who's she talking about right there? Because Clark takes over every single trap she goes to. In fact, they gotta expand the trap so she can take over more real estate. Every single place she goes to. I mean, there is zero argument to possibly be made that she isn't the biggest attraction, the one that brings the most attention, whatever. It's not even worth talking about.
Yet, as if one setback wasn't enough, fate had another brutal surprise in store for Angel. Her own body decided to join the conspiracy against her carefully laid plans. She suffered a debilitating back injury that has kept her sidelined for multiple games, forcing her to miss 4 of the Chicago Sky's last 5 contests. The injury has been vaguely described as day-to-day, but with no concrete timetable for her return, Angel found herself trapped on the sidelines, a helpless spectator as her team embarked on a spectacular spiral downward. The Chicago Sky, meanwhile, have been providing their own brand of unintentional entertainment for anyone who enjoys watching basketball teams find creative, often baffling, ways to lose. Currently sitting at a dismal 8-21 record, the Sky are mired in an 8-game losing streak that coincided perfectly with Angel's injury absence. The team has managed to drop games left, right, and center, while their star player nurses both her back and, undoubtedly, her wounded pride. Adding to the swirling speculation, some disgruntled Sky fans have even questioned the timing of her injury, noting that she sat out a game before the All-Star game, played in the All-Star game, then played just one more contest before declaring her back was hurting again. The optics, to say the least, are not great, further muddying the waters around her commitment and impact.
Sponsors assured him Clark, coming to his organization, would rake in cash hand over fist. But, quote, they didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese. She's not the draw, folks. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Quote, I don't know if we can make that same offer. Cube initially sent the offer Clark's way when she was an Iowa Hawkeye.
For Reebok, this entire situation has morphed into a public relations nightmare of epic, almost comical proportions. Imagine being a brand executive, watching your marquee athlete, the face of your basketball revival, missing simple layups while wearing your prominently displayed shoes. Picture the horror as commentators around the league openly laugh at her performance, the clips going viral for all the wrong reasons. The company that once dominated basketball footwear, a brand steeped in legacy and aspiration, is now indelibly associated with an athlete who has become synonymous with missed opportunities. Under the leadership of Shaquille O'Neal, Reebok had made Angel Reese their marquee signing, positioning her as the cornerstone of their basketball revival. They invested heavily, creating the Reebok by Angel collection and planning an entire signature shoe line around her personality and playing style. But personality and style, as it turns out, simply cannot overcome fundamental basketball incompetence. The signature shoe announcement, which should have been a triumphant celebration of athletic achievement and brand synergy, instead became a textbook case study in how quickly things can go spectacularly wrong. The diamond dust colorway of the Angel Reese 1, meant to embody grit and glamour, has instead become a symbol of profound miscalculation and spectacularly poor timing. Industry insiders are now openly questioning whether Reebok might be having agonizing second thoughts about their monumental investment. When your signature athlete is gaining more notoriety for missing shots than making them, and when her team is providing nightly examples of how not to play professional basketball, the return on investment starts looking not just questionable, but potentially catastrophic.
Boy, to get popped by 40 at home. Now I'm seeing the Sky fans. It's some Sky fans going at Angel Reese. Sky fans is going at Angel Reese. And I didn't even think about this. Okay, so Angel Reese, you sat out the game before the All-Star game. Then you played in the All-Star game. Then you played one game and said, okay, your back is hurting. Now you're not playing again. I don't know. Look, the Sky fans is bringing it up, not me. They bringing it up. Look. Don't get mad at me.
Angel Reese's entire brand strategy was built around the concept of being basketball's next big star, someone who could command attention and drive sales through sheer force of personality. The belief was that her off-court charisma and cultural impact were enough to transcend any on-court inconsistencies. But in the ruthless arena of professional sports, personality without performance is just noise. And noise, no matter how loud, simply doesn't move merchandise or fill arenas in the long run. The timing of her injuries couldn't have been worse for maintaining momentum. Just as the WNBA was experiencing unprecedented attention and viewership, largely due to the Caitlin Clark effect, Angel found herself relegated to street clothes and sideline observations. Her absence during the Sky's debilitating losing streak has only highlighted how much the team struggles without her physical presence. But more damningly, it has exposed the inherent limitations of building a brand around someone whose on-court production remains wildly inconsistent. For a brand trying to position her as a winner and a leader, these team results create a narrative problem that is proving almost impossible to overcome. The cold, hard truth of her limited draw was painfully evident when a highly anticipated matchup between her and Clark saw ticket prices plummet from hundreds of dollars to a mere $5, simply because Clark, due to a quad injury, wasn't playing. The message was clear: no Clark, no audience. "No one watches you, Angel Reese," a commentator bluntly stated, summarizing the brutal reality. "The only thing that I enjoy watching is all the clips on TikTok of you just countlessly just missing every shot that you take."
Great ideas, wants to bring in talent to grow Reebok and have people wear it again because no one does. So one of his genius decisions was this. Fucking signing her, Angel Reese. If you don't know who she is, she's the queen of fish out of water going after a rebound that she shot herself and can get in the net ever. She reminds me of a 3-year-old shooting on those little kids' nets and throwing the ball and just completely missing the mark.
The Fever have whooped the Sky basically every time they've played them. And did everybody forget about Barbie Night last year, where Clark and the Fever went in there and she was signing pink towels and stuff? And
the implications of this unfolding drama extend far beyond Angel Reese and Reebok, touching the very fabric of women's basketball itself. The sport has been experiencing an unprecedented surge in growth, largely fueled by compelling personalities, intensified rivalries, and a dramatic improvement in play quality, all of which have converged in the Caitlin Clark era. But highly visible struggles from marquee players, especially those positioned as the face of future growth, can severely damage that hard-won progress. It risks reinforcing negative stereotypes about women's basketball that the sport has worked tirelessly to overcome for decades. For Reebok, the path forward is now shrouded in uncertainty. Do they double down on their massive investment, hoping that Angel can miraculously overcome her current struggles and finally fulfill her much-touted potential? Or do they quietly, perhaps even strategically, distance themselves from an association that has become more liability than asset? The decision hanging over their corporate boardrooms is monumental, hinging on whether they believe her current struggles are temporary setbacks that can be overcome with training and discipline, or if they are indicative of fundamental, perhaps insurmountable limitations in her game. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Angel, but for the perception of the entire league.
There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. On TikTok, he's put together a load of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses, bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe. Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
The scheduled shoe launch in 2026 now carries a weight far beyond mere commercial success. It will serve as a profound referendum on Angel Reese's entire career trajectory. It will be the moment of truth, asking whether she can truly transform herself from a player who has become known for missing easy shots into one genuinely worthy of signature footwear. The diamond dust colorway, once meant to embody grit and glamour, will need to represent a radical transformation of her on-court performance as much as it does a fashion statement. Angel's response to this unprecedented adversity will not only define the next phase of her career, but also reshape her complex relationship with Reebok. Can she harness this brewing frustration, this public humiliation, as the ultimate motivation to dramatically improve her game, silence the critics, and finally justify the immense faith that Reebok prematurely showed in her? Or will she remain hopelessly trapped in a cycle of missed opportunities, both literal on the court and figurative in her career and brand development? The self-appointed most important player in the WNBA faces a crucible moment, a defining challenge that will determine whether her legacy is one of fleeting fame or genuine earned greatness.
So bad that when Caitlin Clark and her were supposed to face off against each other the other week, the ticket sales went down from $100 to like $5 because Caitlin Clark got injured. She had a quad injury, so she wasn't playing. So guess what? No one wanted to go watch. And if you don't know Caitlin Clark, she's pretty much the GOAT of the WNBA and is the reason why people are watching. No one watches you, Angel Reese. No one watches you. The only thing that I enjoy watching is all the clips on TikTok of you just countlessly just missing every shot that you take.
You know, in the past when I said things like Angel Reese is not a good basketball player, I think I spoke too soon. At this point, I've come to realize that Angel Reese, the self-appointed most important player in the WNBA, is not a bad player. She may be the worst player, at least whose name we actually.
As Angel Reese sits on the sideline, nursing her back injury and watching her meticulously planned brand moment disintegrate into a cautionary tale, one has to wonder if she has finally learned the lesson that should have been obvious from the very beginning. You simply cannot build lasting success on someone else's star power. Her entire carefully orchestrated plan, her grand unveiling, hinged on the one thing she couldn't control: Caitlin Clark's health and availability. It's a brutal, undeniable reminder that in the unpredictable world of professional sports, as in life itself, even the best-laid plans can be undone by forces far beyond your command. Real stars, true legends, create their own moments. They don't depend on their rivals to make them relevant. They forge their path, define their legacy, and ignite their own spotlight through consistent performance, undeniable talent, and an unwavering ability to deliver when it truly matters. The stark, uncomfortable truth is out. The real draw, the undisputed phenomenon, was never in question. And for Angel Reese, the path forward demands a fundamental shift, from relying on reflected glory to finally generating her own.